I am curious as to what they take for their Natsumi hero, really, and what role exactly the Viper will play, because it doesn't feel like a Yapaj hero at all. It could just be our CTM hero. So an off-lane Viper could be coming through here from Neon, which could still be nice. I think you might be considering as well just changing lanes. We saw Natsumi playing on the off lane aggressively for his Ursa last time. You could do the same here. Have the Viper try to lane up against a Bristleback and go from there. Omega though will have, enough time to kind of shake it up, respond here. They could still flex it to Mac, and they go with the Faces Void here for Omega. So they've got the Chrono to play with. They've got good control. They have a decent combo with Void and Bristle, but Neon go into the Raid King, which is kind of nice into the Void. Like, even if your big core is caught in Chrono, he's going to have a second life. You could go Diffusal on a Faceless Void, but that does mean down the line you might lose out in the farm game as well. So I think OB Neon are covering their bases pretty nicely and giving themselves more options. They can push pretty quick with the Raid King as well. So they can kind of play with that, and we'll see if they can make
Radiant team pick.
Be one way to kind of still get value from that spell, but they're thinking pretty hard about this one. And off lane Sam H. I think Sam H Chaos Knight. It's the I don't know about this one. It's aggressive. It's aggressive that the CK can kind of run up at you and just keep trying to play with the chain stuns with Lion. You could definitely try to win out that lane early while the Wraith King doesn't feel that tanky. It's not really the synergy you're looking for with the Face's Void. Build up is still good for a CK. You don't have the best illusion clear here from Neon Sand, so that will be impactful no matter what. It's such a strange last pick though, like
10 seconds.
They still run the Bristleback mid against Invoker, so it's still decent for Mac. He can still try to bully out with his quilts early on, and even a value point in Goo is going to make all the difference there. Yupaj has to really maximize his range advantage. Maybe try to look for angles to get an EMP off, just to prevent Mac from really winning out that lane. I know, Omega's draft is strange. Like, Void CK, we don't see it too often. They don't have the best synergy in the chrono. They have ways to play it, but it feels like their timings are all over the place. Whereas for Neon, it's straightforward. You've got this Viper who can buy you out some space. You have the Wraith King who just farms up naturally and becomes your win condition. The Invoker is really the big one that you have to watch out for. You have to protect it in the mid. Again, a matchup against Bristle can go either way. You want to enable the opponent to hit his timings here. And if you can do that, I think you can ride through a lot of what Omega's trying to do here. Hopefully not, but yeah, good to hear from the audience that the volume's coming through.
Don't fall here for his trips.
I'm still Southeast Asian, you know. It's in our blood. It's in our blood. It's in our pubs, and we've got to see if that's in the blood of Obi Neon as well. Like, honestly, you know why they're losing, Mike? They don't have their support pack in. That's it. They don't have their secret voice lines. Their packs in, you know. And it would be nice to come in, but look at John Yu. No good luck. He's not wishing them good luck to Tino because they might get only bashed, he says. So no wishes out from John Yuel. Everyone else in a good mood. Yupaj giving respect to Sam H. Idol Sam H. Of course, Sam H is a veteran. Everyone remembers his run with TNC and TI and that heartbreaking interview. So it's always good to see him back. He's been out of it for a while, right? And he bounces back in. With Omega, he's found his space. It's looking good. So we'll see. This is a bit of a rumbu. We failed to mention it, but Filipino team versus Filipino team. Time to duke it out here in the best of one.
You love to see it. You know, Obi Neon, so much pressure on them, but I think their draft looks pretty nice going into Smart Omega here. Maybe later on it becomes a bit of a problem with the Void, Bristle, and CK because there's just so much scalability, but at least for now, Natsumi should be alright with the Wraith King, at least in the chrono, and in terms of bounties, they are going to have a 2-for-2 start as well. Here you go. Mac, of course, going to be in that mid lane on the Bristle. Yupaj is going to be against him on the Invoker. I'm quite intrigued to see how this matchup does pan out between these two. Do you think we see more of just a farming lane between these two heroes, or is there any kill potential maybe for Mac?
Yeah, there is. There is. You can play pretty aggressive with the quilts, but look at Yupaj. Starts with X, goes for EMP. That's the key. Just bully out Mac, zone out from the creep wave, keep trying to land EMP. That was a bit optimistic from Yupaj. So now Mac has a bit of an opening to quilt spray, but I think level 3 is the big spike for Mac. If you get the quilt spray up, the bristle back up, and get nasal goo ready, Invoker does not have great armor, so you run him down, you slow him up, you can really start to chip through. And if Yupaj can't land EMP, well, it's not a matchup that you really want to have to look towards the logical. And still, with Cold Snap up, you could look for that play here. Oh, he missed.
If Mac goes for the nasal goo as well, right? Like on Yopaj, you could chase him down with that slow, but for now he's gonna just stay away from it. Top lane, Natsumi gonna get stunned up. Sam H, Hex is out as well. They might have this kill. There's not really much Gen you all can do to help Natsumi. He's gonna fairy fire and keep running, but Sam H has another stun. He just needed the vision, but he won't be able to get it. Barely survives and gets salved up.
Yeah, and that's the one thing with this matchup here for Neon. There's so much more aggression coming out from Omega, and ooh, CTM.
At CML. Yeah, a great start there for OB Neon, and this is kind of what you expect, right? With the Viper, he's probably going to win out the lane. Tino will be able to time walk away any damage, but you know, you've still got to be careful.
It's dual melee into Viper. So the Viper definitely went out there. Playhard's doing a good job of just zoning out. It's a very defensive lane from Omega, unless some lucky bashes fly through. So you do have to play a bit passively, try to hold out. You can see on mid, Mac is starting to pull a bit ahead in last hits, not by a huge amount. Yopaj is holding out well enough. I think the threat of EMP Cold Snap has been enough to hold back Mac from really being aggressive in that lane. He does opt for level 2 Quilt Spray though, so he's not opting for the goo yet. Probably just going to look for the creep cut and just to secure his safe CS and force Yopaj to last hit under tower.
A farming game so far, these two teams. You can already see just Mac pulling away and farming the triangle of the Dire, and this is something we've been seeing a lot of, especially around that banner room timing at the 3-minute mark. They just pull the wave over, and he might just do it again. The thing is, Yopaj can't stop Mac from doing this. So when any EMP's out, he's still going to aggro the creep wave. This time, though, he's not going to go to a jungle camp. Instead, he's just going to completely skip the wave. I suppose that's not quite as bad.
Thanks, guys.
As going all the way to the camp here for Yopaj.
Yeah, I think this is pretty alright for Yopaj. He doesn't have to lane directly with a bristle. He's still last hitting under tower relatively well, all things considered. So your Invoker's actually not shut out. I think right now for Neon, they definitely need to just hold out in the side lanes. Like, Natsumi's lane's going awfully slow. You can see that Sam H has pulled ahead in CS. And a slower start for your Raid King can be detrimental. You can still catch up farm with your Mortal Strike Skeletons in the jungle a bit better. Or at least the Vampiric Spirit Skeletons. But it feels a bit awkward as well if you're too far behind there. So definitely need to find some space out there. And the good news is that they've slowed down Tino a lot more. And for the Faces Void, he definitely doesn't flash farm as much. At least the Raid King has the Skellies, but Void only has the mobility from Time Walk to really play with. And that might not be enough to keep up in the farm game here.
All things being said and done, like, Omega are having a pretty nice time considering their draft shouldn't be this good early on. Like, but you look at bot lane, Tino, it's not the best farm in the world, but he is getting the CS he needs. And more importantly, that mid lane is going extremely well for Mac. Farming the triangle now. Yopaj building up to an urn, probably going to go for a Spirit Vessel again. Meanwhile, top lane Shanks is going to drop as Natsumi finds the kill, and it looks like Neon did bring up 3 heroes to make sure that did happen.
And they've got the combination on hand now. They can start with a cold feet, get the stun from the Raid King, get the freeze off. With the additional stun from Playhard, it's pretty much a guaranteed kill on basically anyone that shows up. So, great way of buying space out for OB Neon. And it's at that point anyway where your Viper can kind of solo the bot lane. Tino is not going to get any real relief from just having the support walk off. And you can see Playhard just keeping his position there in that area, keeping track. He's got the forward ward in the triangle. And oh, Playhard.
They'll go in. Spike out. Shanks, who'll have it hex up as well, and will go for it. Sam H doing so much damage, but not quite enough. Back the cold feet. It's going to freeze him up. They won't commit to the kill, of course, back on the CK. They'll just kind of accept the fact that Playhard has survived. That's one of the big problems I think we'll see in this game for Neon, is there's just so much damage output, no matter which core you look at. It's going to be very hard to try and figure out who you want to aim down in the middle of a team fight. There is going to be a hell of a lot of DPS coming out from every single core.
I love what I'm seeing here from CML as well. We saw CTM stacking up the camps, and he just blocks it and contests. And they're doing the same thing here in the triangle. OB Neon not giving Mac free space.
Yapaj gonna get caught there by the Earth Spike, and with the Aphotic Shield, Mac is gonna be fine. In fact, they'll run around. Yapaj now being hexed up.
God.
He needs some help. He'll try to run with the Tornado. They don't have the Nasal Goo yet, so they can't really slow him up. But Mac, he does get play hard, and will even go after Januel. The TP attempt is gonna be nice, but it won't be nice enough, as Mac will get himself a nice early double kill on the Bristle. It's gonna feel very good for the side of Smart Omega.
They just finally find the kills. They still get the camps to themselves. They're not really able to contest on Neon's end. And the farm is still flowing in for Mac. He's got the Ring of Health on, so he's got a lot of regen on hand. Vanguard not too far off, considering his free farm. So you've got a stable foundation here for Omega. You can play with your Bristle once the item's up. You can buy space out for your Faceless Void. Tino is trying to save up for the Mask of Madness. And that is going to be his farm accelerator. And that should line up with when the Vanguard comes out here for Mac. So at that point, the Bristle can stop playing in the triangle. They're still contesting here in OB Neon's end, though.
Tornado out. Earth Spike is gonna land. Mac gonna have his mana drained again, but he has some stick charges, so we'll turn back around. Hex is out. Shanks, no Earth Spike available quite yet, but he'll drain the mana of Yapaj and just slow him down. Instead, they'll have to commit to play hard. And a nice impel there might save the day. In fact, he'll salve out of there. Yapaj now being stunned up, but Mac is extremely low, and CTM has shown up on the Viper, just in case they could turn this one around. Neon. Get nothing, they'll go back to the power room.
It's a bit unfortunate spawn spot. Like, if they just immediately got the power rune, they might have been able to go for a bit more of a chase back into the triangle, look for a kill opportunity. All this time rotating around has kind of freed up Tino's lane. He's free farming by himself. You don't have the Viper to contest. You're getting some good EXP on Tino, level 7 now. CTM just hitting 6. He had to divert to the jungle for a bit as well. And it's a bit of a slower start than you'd want for the Viper, for sure. He hasn't really shut down Tino, so Tino's going to have that mom timing, and he's just going to be able to flash farm soon.
Sam H throws up that top side. Natsumi, he already committed the Wraith Fire Blast, but he has so much damage. Shanks though going to come in now with the Earth Spike, and Mac going to commit. Cold Feet again out from Januel. Is it going to be enough? Not quite. He is fine. Mac can continue the chase. Does force the TP rotation in from Yapaj. Unable to really get much done apart from just kind of scaring them off. Suppose at least Natsumi does survive on the Wraith King, and that might be good enough for Neon.
It's a heavy rotational investment for that, though. This is time where the supports aren't stacking. This is time where the supports aren't trying to get some EXP in a free lane. So you kind of miss out on some of those level 6 spikes, whereas Omega is splitting up that EXP nicely. CMO is allowed to soak mid, about to hit 6 on the Abaddon. Once you've got that, you can't really jump the guy. Sam H is starting to relieve that pressure on the mid lane, and Tino is really free farming with Mom up. So CTM shows back in lane. He's got the Falcon Blade up, so we tend to see in the Viper. I worry about how much space they've given Tino, though. Like, this is not the Void that we were seeing shut down in the first 5 minutes. This is a free farm Void matching your Wraith King after a terrible start. And if they don't do something to stop this, he could just free farm his way to the team's win.
Tornado gonna be there with the EMP out. Nice impel and the Viper Strike. It should be enough for Tino. He's gonna time walk and TP away.
Structures are fortified.
That's gonna be a real point of concern. I mean, they don't have enough damage with 3 heroes there. That's a Viper that's meant to be very strong right now. And Tino, he just time walks and TPs. That's definitely very bad news for Neon.
It's the one thing with the Knicks, like, if they're not hitting you, you can't really stop TPs with a Spike Carapace, and there's so much space for Omega. They see the 3-man rotation, they push mid with the Phantasm out from Sam H, towers down to half HP, and that will force a response back. They do lose their bot tier 1, but now the response is towards mid, so that frees up the top lane for the shove in from Mac.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
That he will do. Genuel, he's going to be the only one around right now in the AA to try and set up a defense, but the T1's already gone. At the very least, they already got the bottom T1 tower for Neon, so not all is really lost.
Top tower is gone.
But that 2k net worth lead on Smart Omega is going to be a little bit daunting for Neon Esports, because again, with this draft, you can't really argue that they won't be able to scale better than what Neon will be able to with their own draft.
I think, again, it's awkward for Omega because they've got 4 melee heroes with a Faceless Void. That in itself is super awkward, but it doesn't matter if the Void's allowed to become win condition by himself. Like, he's not going to need follow-up in the Chrono. He's not going to worry about direct Chrono counters as well. And Tino is still set to hit that timing. In fact, he's going to look for a Chrono.
Yeah, they get one on the Nyx Assassin with the finger out. Shanks will get it done. I don't really mind that at all either. Right, like usually you maybe want the Chrono on a core kill, but for Tino, he just shows up in the lane. He just commits it quickly, gets himself a kill, and that'll be enough for him. He doesn't need to find the core kill that maybe he would have preferred. Just save his time, get back to farming, and accept the kill you get.
Yep, it's not a worry at all. Like, it's a 12-minute Chrono. You mostly see that in supports anyway. If not, you're just sitting on the spell. So you get it off cooldown, get a kill, you build up, you go back to farming, you buy more space out. For OB Neon, they do smoke up now. They've got Vendetta up on Play Hard. They could look for a bit of a play if they catch out Tino. That could be big.
They've missed out on him. Tino's going to be fine. Once he shows them the wave, they could try to make their way up north, and in fact, it looks like they are now. CTM and Play Hard. Courier, Shanks, they should know he's around to bird, and they might have to just commit here. Onto Shanks, who will tank the gank for his carry. That was really nice positioning from Shanks to break the smoke like that. He knew something was up. Will allow Tina to get out. And while that's happening, Yopaj now mid lane. Being chased down a little bit there by Mac and being threatened with his life, but will ultimately be all right.
Yeah, he's just holding fine. You do have to really protect the mid. Podge is just doing good work of holding them back. He's not really getting value from the Spirit Vessel, though. No charges up. They haven't been able to hunt with this nice spike on the Invoker. So they're playing a bit more passive. They are buying Natsumi out space to farm. On Raid King, he's been free farming the bot lane. He has his armlet up, rushing Radiance. You still have some good timings coming out on your pause 1 here for Neon. Just need to ensure that once the Radiance is up, they have to win some fights. Like, you still can't draw this game out too late against a Faceless Void. It's the matter of Chronosphere being an awesome late game spell. It's just one of the best. Shanks,
yeah, caught out here on the line. Impale, of course, going to land there, and CTM, excuse me, should have enough damage to get it done, and does.
My poison.
Do they mind, though? Do they really mind that happening? It just, as long as the other 3 cores are farming, you just don't really seem to care too much.
Yeah, you don't mind. Like, look at Sam H. He went for a Midas build-up onto CK. He's not dying, he's not fighting. Instead of Midas is just paying for itself. As long as he uses it off cooldown, they're still getting good pressure mid, because Mac just stands in front and still manages to force it out despite not having mana. And now you have Natsumi having to show mid to prevent that. So this is time where Natsumi is better off in the jungle or in the bot lane. It's not as efficient for him. All, of course, of Omega are very comfy with the space coming through. And they're just going to hit these spikes real quick. Like Bristleback, Mac in this case, is rushing a BKB. He just wants to stand in front, not care about the Invoker spells, not care about the Nether Toxin. And that will make all the difference. Once that BKB is up, he's just going to run you down on this Bristleback.
Sumi getting quite close to the Radiance on that Raid King. Still top of the net worth. He is kind of alone in terms of the damage output that is going to be flying out. Mac pressuring that mid-tier 1 tower. It's like he should be able to get it this time. He does have a haste rune just in case Neon want to try and defend, but it looks like they aren't even going to bother. They'll let it go down. Open up the map now for Omega. In fact, Genuel almost got spotted there by Mac, but has managed to back off in time. And now this is the point where I wonder where Natsumi is going to be able to farm. He's going to start running out of space very quickly unless they reinvade this jungle, and CTM is going to be able to do so.
He's trying to free up the space here, getting some good wards down as well to keep the vision game up. The side of Omega, well, they're not really looking to be aggressive. Like, sure, they show Sandwich in lane, uses his Midas. You popped the Phantasm though, but they've got Chrono ready. You want your line around to use that, although your Paj.
On bot lane, he has been caught out. Mac, he's going to show up, but he has the ghost form. He's going to try and run now. Still trying to Genuel, but a nice tornado won't be enough. Shanks gets the finger, however. Top lane CTM, he did kill off Sam H. So everyone kind of focused their attention down to the bot lane. They forgot about Sam H up top, and CTM gets a much more valuable kind of trade.
Definitely better there for Neon. They do manage to kill off a core for support, so it doesn't feel too bad. And they managed to bail out Yopaj as well. If it was Yopaj who died instead, I think Omega would feel a lot better, but they didn't really manage to catch him out in time, so gonna be counting your lucky stars there for OB Neon as the game continues to kind of drag on. 4-5, 9 kills on the board at 17.5 minutes. Not the fastest game. Both sides are just trying to build up that farm advantage, and for now Omega has it slightly 1k their way, but Natsumi is still the most farmed core. Radiant's up and running now on the Wraith King flying in. You've got that major spike in his hero. The missed chance might be enough to make it a bit annoying for Tino and for Sam H to focus on the Wraith King. But it's really the burst damage, the burn damage at this point. Like, that burn will really just annoy you throughout these fights. You've got this magic amplification as well from the Ice Vortex. So if Genuel gets his positioning right, gets some good Ice Vortexes on nearby targets, to Natsumi, the Radiance Burn is just going to help him find those kills. So Neon's got pretty good timer to play with now, and they are sort of lining up top, but they don't really have Natsumi around, so you've got to be a bit careful with that clump up.
Kino. That's right behind him. They've got him. Ice Blast is there. Is it going to be enough? He'll time walk, but he can't heal up the damage. Sunstrike out. Chrono, he'll try and turn around, but he is going to die with the Ice Blast damage. Still Mac and Sam H going to go into CTM, and they might be able to get somewhat of a trade. They do, but it's definitely not as worth as it was for Neon. They got the Void, they got the Chrono, they got so much out of that kill.
Very worthwhile for OB Neon. I'm sure CTM doesn't mind trading his life for that, although Mac...
Yeah, Mac getting a bit aggressive there in the mid lane. Coldfeet gonna lock him up, and now they can just attack the front. Tornado gonna be off the mark as Mac will run towards the west, but he is still in big trouble as Natsumi's just not done, but the Miscoil and a Photic Shield, it will save the day, but now the Ice Blast and Sunstrike not gonna land onto Mac. He'll make a run, he might still tick out to the damage, but no. The Photic Shield is there. Mac will survive. CML, he may go down. Sam H, he's going to jump in. Tino's there as well. Shanks, a big Earth Spike out, landing on 2. Now the Rift is there. Play hard is dead, but Sam H also drops, and now Yapaj. He's going to go down on the Invoker. Natsumi is in trouble, but he still has that reincarnation. Instead, they'll aim down Genuel. Another great Earth Spike in from Shanks, but CTM, he's going to show up on the Viper. They'll turn around on that Lion. They'll get another kill. And Neon, that they did come out on the positive side. The reincarnation life on Natsumi doesn't really count. We've got to be careful though. I mean, Tino survived through it. You saw how much they struggled already with this draft, and you can imagine later on, once the real peaks of these cores on Omega are there, it's going to be very hard to fight into.
Really will be. I think That entire fight broke out because Mac was forcing his issue up front. He's got to be careful. He's not that tanky. If they can turn around, get the chain stun and control off, have to wait a bit more for a reconnect on Sam H. He needs his BKB up on this Bristle to really be safe. Overestimating his own durability, giving opportunities to OB Neon, still not what you want to do here for Smart Omega. Like, you still need more farm on Sam H. With his Midas up, like he has the blink up and running now on this CK. And that's enough to maybe start some initiation on your side. But you don't want to give openings to OB Neon. They still have a really... behind.
Well, that's
for waiting. No problem. It's alright. We understand 100 ping coming through. Yeah, thanks. We're back. They're friends. Of course, you can't be friends in a game of Dota, Mike. Someone's got to win.
absolutely not, John. Speaking of winning, though, Neon, what, 2k? No, 1k ahead. It does keep switching up. Now 2k again in terms of net worth lead. Omega, looks like they are still experiencing some packet loss and some ping issues. Not today, C server. Not today.
Oh boy.
A four-man disconnect now. It's definitely not the greatest of news.
Never great when your sponsor is an ISP. So
I mean,
hopefully it fixes itself.
it happens, John. Take it easy.
It happens. It happens. Excuse me, my throat. OV Neon. And they're holding on though. Like the 2k lead, it's bouncing around. Most of that's on Natsumi. So it's on the right hero. It's all in on your Wraith King. You're not really dripping gold down to your other core. So look at CTM. He's lagging behind by 1k compared to Tino and Mac. And the big one that's painful is Yaposh. He is down by about 2k compared to the Bristle. Not this Midas on his Invoker. He's trying to build into the Solar Crest. So it's not an Ags Rush. We're not seeing something like the Orchid for control. He's going for this utilitarian Invoker build-up, which can help. I feels like it has a timer as well. Like we've seen that from his Gyro in the last game, where he went for these very fast build-up items. That meant they had to really play fast, and it looks about the same with the Invoker. Solar Crest is really impactful. Doesn't necessarily have the best scaling with your own toolkit for the Invoker towards that mid to late game. And they've got to really maximize this once it's out for Yaposh. Like, you don't normally see that. Midas, and then Spirit Vessel, it's like, okay. And then Solar Crest as well. I don't know, it just feels like it's not the impactful item you want. It's not an Orchid, it's not an Ags. It's nothing like that that helps you just get control out.
Absolutely.
I will commit this
Know
to
or
memory.
may be interested. T1 PNC is happening on the main channel, PGO_Dota2. So if you wanted to go watch that series as well, that is currently live on PGO_Dota2. In case you wanted to watch.
Yep.
Thought it'd be a
Should
nice
be pretty
Stop
hyped there.
jungling, let's push.
Yeah, it's
Stop
fair enough.
jungling, let's push.
Should be pretty hyped. You know, Cuckoo dropped by on the tweet. Says John Ignition. I'm not sure if he expects me to sing the song on stream. No, sir. Unfortunately.
I think he may have seen you singing on stream yesterday, John. And he thought maybe you take song requests now. So we had a My Way song request earlier on from Frank Sinatra. So there you go. You're getting a few requests, sir. We might have to start a stream, get you busking, get you busking for some money.
Yeah, it's the karaoke. You know, karaoke is the national pastime here in the Philippines.
Oh, I'm very well
Everyone
aware.
loves singing. Heard it from your neighbors.
I've had many a sleepless night from my Filipino neighbors. Great singing, though. I'll give them that. I don't understand a word they're saying, but it
they're
sounds
asking.
good. What's happening, John?
I have to translate. I don't know if they're being serious, but they did ask for how much pause time left. But they typed it in Filipino, so I'm not asking for the on pause. I'm just asking for them because I don't know if they're joking. But they seem to want to know at the very least.
No, I mean, Neon's got a lot on the line, John. I don't blame them.
Yeah.
You've got to take every advantage you get, personally. By the rules, it's by the rules. Who the hell cares?
Yeah, doesn't look like we've got someone watching, so that's fine. You can see CML saying someone's very proud, you know, full of themselves, Yabang. Because Johnny Well was trying to talk, no one replied. Like, someone's full of themselves. Johnny Well says easy carry, not to me, of course. And still some issues with the internet. Unfortunate. You know what it is, Mike? You know what it actually is? The internet. It's 3:30. This is Merienda time. It's time for Merienda. That's
there
it.
You go.
They don't need to pretend. We know. We know. You know.
You finally figured it out, John. Well done.
Yeah.
Speaking of Merienda, what did you have today, sir? Have you had Merienda?
Nah, right? We're casting right now, so I can't dip out for a snack, Mike. What do you think I am? Some kind of animal? Leaving you alone to cast here? No, sir. After. Merienda comes after this. And I'm likely just coffee. You know, the simple things, Mike. Afternoon cup of coffee.
Just coffee?
Yeah, just coffee. Job? Maybe. I don't know what we have. Yeah, we don't have any snacks right now, so probably just some coffee. No bread, no cakes, no nothing. Simple. Just some cafe, you know?
Some what? Cafe?
Cafe.
What is cafe?
Yeah, that's coffee.
Ah, is that how you say coffee in Filipino?
Cafe. Yeah, cafe.
There you go.
It's cafe. Yeah,
I learned a new word today, ladies and gentlemen.
There you go.
I wouldn't mind some cafe myself right now, John. I'll tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah, a bit of a long wait here between these two, and
oh, it's a long day if Neon wins. Remember, we've got to do the tiebreakers all over again. Oh boy.
You gotta love it though, right? Like just going all night with tiebreakers.
Thanks, guys.
Just never stop.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, I think after the second round, our admin has told me that something else determined. So if the second round ends with a draw as well, it's something about yesterday's results take precedence. So I don't know, but yeah, it ends after 2 loops. If there's still a endless time loop at the end, a different rubric will be used to break it up. So yeah, that's something to watch out for if we do end up going 1 win, 1 loss for every team twice over, which is unlikely, but could happen. You never know.
Uh-oh. They got the 5-minute warning.
There we are.
Thank you. Man of business, BenQ. We'll just get in there and let you know what's going on. No playing around from the man.
I mean, you gotta love that. He reps that gun icon as well in his name, right? He never changed it. He's always got the gun. So when he all chats, it's all business. You can't say no to the guy. He's got the gun.
It's classic as well. I mean, I'm not sure what the age group is for the people that are watching right now, but when I was young, everybody had that in their name tag. That the gun symbol thing, the AK. So standard, especially if you're at a LAN cafe, you know, playing CS:GO or something. Every single time, without a doubt, I could guarantee half the lobby would have that in their name. Sure, it was the same for SEA as well.
Yeah, for SEA, it's the X, you know, small x, big X, small x, underscore,
yeah,
lowercase, uppercase, lowercase. that was the hot stuff.
That was a big thing in Maple Story. I noticed. When I was very young, I got to play Maple came out, and that was a massive thing. You had to put the lowercase and uppercase X's in the name. You know, you weren't cool if you didn't. I didn't have them, John. I wasn't cool enough.
Well, look at you, lame, Mike. Very lame.
Yeah.
And speaking of Maple Story, brings back memories of Ragnarok Online.
Oh,
that was the hot stuff.
That was the good.
That's where everyone hangs out in Frontera, lag the screen, just AFK shop there. Classic.
Best.
We even had songs about Ragnarok, I swear.
Oh, you showed me that song. What was it?
Yeah. Chixilog, yeah.
Chixilog, that's the one.
Yeah, the guy who it's about someone bait and switching, catfishing someone. Yeah. It's a catfish song about Ragnarok Online. It was that ingrained in the culture. Everyone played it except
Megang pota.
Out eventually, Mike. Yeah, Yopa's trying to wash his hands. He's the good boy.
All right, there we go. We're finally getting back underway.
God.
I believe. Omegas give the sorry. What can you do? I guess it's just internet issues. You can't really help it. But we are underway again, John. Where were we? Who was even in the lead? It seems like Neon was in the lead.
Slightly.
Right.
They're playing with a spike on her Radiance with Natsumi quite nice. Omega have been forced into a couple of awkward spots. They need to wait for some farm on Tino. Trying to build into the BKB, and it looks like it's not quite done. So he needs the gold to come in. They are making a move up top, though.
Yeah, who they caught out? It's gonna be the Nyx Assassin. That'll be play hard gone. Okay, so they get the Nyx Assassin. They could try to re-invade the jungle with this. CTM is kind of blocking the staircase right now, but looks like Omega. They might just kind of sit back, keep their own farm going. Not sure how confident they still feel into the Natsumi Wraith King, but I'd say they should still be decently confident.
Yeah, I think, I mean, the 2 lives down the line is still going to be scary. Like, it's still really potent. The fact that Chrono means that it only really allows you to take care of 1 life on Wraith King, that could be a problem. And the synergy for Omega is still 4 melee heroes with a Void. So it still relies on Tino just solo carrying in the Chrono by himself, which is still a possibility. It just needs a lot of farm from Tino. So he still needs more build-up. After the BKB, he's going to need some damage flowing into him. And as the game stalls out, you are happier here for Omega because your scaling with Void feels a bit nicer on paper compared to Wraith King. Double life is nice, but if you're not doing damage in either life, it doesn't really matter too much. So we'll see how long Omega's comfy enough to allow this kind of game, as OB Neon are starting to clump up bot, looking for that push opportunity.
Play hard. Nice spike characters. Icebot's going to find through with the Impel setup. Is it going to be enough? Chaos Meteor even drop it back. He will be able to BKB and turn right around onto Natsumi. There's your Rift in Sam H. They want us back, it seems, though. Omega, the BKBs were running out. Natsumi going to keep the chase up now. Sam H is stuck in the tree line, and it looks like he's gone.
Is about to take the plunge.
And OB Neon, they'll keep going onto the bottom tier 2 tower for a bit. They understand this is when they're going to be strong.
Is under attack.
Omega, they've got the Chrono up. I don't know if Tina's going to have enough damage, but he's going to try on to Scam on CT. Will they actually get the Viper? He's going to die. Natsumi now, he's going to be hexed up. Looks like he will still be able to get Shanks on the raid.
Ooh,
Now a big impale now. 3-man impale from Playhard. Is it going to be enough? Not quite yet, but they are just trying to focus down Mac on the bristleback, and it looks like they might just find him. In fact, Tino, he does drop. They'll get the void. They'll get the bristleback now. Mac will go down. The aphotic shield almost blowing up the supports of Neon, but it's not going to quite be enough. The CML does drop, and now Neon, they want to start moving into that tier 2 tower again, and it looks like they're going to be able to get it.
It's just really awkward for Omega. The damage output from Tino is not enough, and he can't play with a Chrono. So even if he catches a lot, it's actually detrimental. He needs to catch, for now, one-man Chronos so that the rest of his team can kind of do something outside as well. And OB Neon are just abusing that well. Their spacing's really good. They've got this quick Ags up on Playhard. So now Omega's going to have to deal with the burrow coming through. And that will be an issue. We've seen so many nixes with these Ags. Just completely ruined the opposing side. They've got to be ready in Omega. They've got to be ready with detection to stop Playhard from just sitting down there. And the Roche is going to go Neon's way. They're already starting. No Chrono here from Omega, so it's harder to go into that pit. They can't allow it to go for free as well.
Mac's going to try and move in, but immediately he starts getting attacked by CTM. The Ice Blast is going to be there. Natsumi will not stop chasing him down, but the Earth Spike will save us now. Tino jump in on the Wraith King, but Natsumi just proving to be a little bit too tanky, as instead they'll go in onto Sam H. The CK barely going to survive thanks to that aphotic shield. CML, he won't be so lucky. One crit will get the job done from Natsumi. Backing on the Roshan pit.
Can't stop it. They know they can't. They've stalled it out, but first Aegis will go the way of OB Neon. Potentially 3 lives up on Natsumi, and he does pick it up. He's got the AC up and running on the Wraith King. He does a ton of damage. He's very bulky up front. All this armor stacking means that Mac with a Quilt Spray isn't actually doing much damage to the Wraith King. There's a lot of physical mitigation on the hero. And for the side of Omega, they need to sit back and keep farming here.
He ran right into a sentry ward, finger round.
Oh boy.
They got the bashes. Definitely a bit of an awkward sentry ward there, but it does catch out the Invoker. Rest of OB Neon, they just kept going for the top tier 1 tower, and they do eventually get it. Doesn't really matter too much if the Invoker dies now, as Natsumi's looking like a real powerhouse at 18.5k gold worth of net worth. Sam H.
Really all about Natsumi. Invis.
Avoid play hard, Mac. Force the BKB up and run, and Sam H is still around with the Invis room, but he might need to try and find a way back home.
Radiant's middle tower can't handle
Yeah, he doesn't really have the burst for any of the cores. He can only really go for the sports. The ideal would be Johnny Well, but he misses out on that opportunity. No vision to help him out with this mission as well. So it does give OB Neon the clearing to go mid. Playhard standing in the back with a burrow. They can't really play into this, into tier 2 defense. I think right now for Omega, if you're not going to commit Chrono, you have to play high ground. You just can't afford to be up front right now, and that's going to be another free objective here for Neon.
That it will.
Whoa.
Sam H? Oh! Sam H ends up getting your punch by himself. So sticking around in that dire jungle ends up paying off, as they got the Invoker again. But they are still losing objectives across the map, so I can't say the Invoker's life really matters that much anymore. I think the attention is to be much more focused on Natsumi, surely. Maybe even CTM.
Yeah, but
Hasn't been the case yet.
I think they're doing the right thing on Omega, though. They're avoiding OB Neon while they're strong. They know they can't force the defense out, so they need to find pickoffs outside, and they still find the core kills. Now, Yopaj isn't worth much. He's bottom of all the cores right now, but you're still getting something for your time, and that's key for Omega installing this game out. Like, it makes it uncomfy for Neon to really go for too many more objectives. They got some space down bot, with Tino just pushing in, finding that bot tier 1, and having a lane to play for himself, and preventing some creeps from running in there, so your bot lane's protected from a flood. Sam H is watching the top, but you can't really stop this. Even if you had the numbers, it's risky, but they will TP Mac in.
TP's in Mac onto Natsumi. Too hard of a target to burst down. They might just try and turn. Meanwhile, the backside, Sam H trying to catch out Yapaj. Tornado's going to be there. Instead, on to Play Hard he goes. Trying to burst down the Nyx Assassin. Finger round will be enough. Play Hard, he's gone. Sam H is still looking for the back lines. Trying to catch out the Invoker. Natsumi moving upwards now, but it's been a very split kind of team fight. And it only ends up in 1 kill and an immediate buyback from Play Hard.
And I think Omega are not exactly happy about that. Like, they still lose the tier 2 tower. So overall, Neon still finds the objective. They don't lose any major heroes. The buyback's going to allow them to maybe line up for some more aggression. They can, like, start to look for the high ground while the Aegis is up and running on Natsumi. For Omega, they still hold on to the Chrono. And they've got the BKB up on Tino. So he can jump in, he can set up for his team. They are kind of smoked out looking for a hunt, but the scan does reveal where Neon is.
Natsumi gonna be able to get this Wraithfire blast off. Take over the Radiant side outpost. Neon, I suppose for them, as long as they control the map and they deny the farm away from Omega, they're more than happy. Omega, they've kind of been stuck around this bot side, and you see Shanks just there to try and make sure that Tino doesn't get caught out, but now Yapaj is around and the TPs are coming in. Tino, Tornado not going to land, EMP not going to land either, Ice Blast, Sunstrike will give the vision, and now they get the Impale off. Where is your Lion? He's gone, Shanks, he left.
Oh boy.
Shanks left? He must have assumed Tino was fine.
He didn't pop his BKB preemptively. He was just standing there. The Sunstrike gave the vision and part. I think you just needed to bail there. There's no other play to make for the side of Omega. So a nice kill coming up over Neon. They get to start chugging the bot lane. They've got the 7k lead now. Omega, they need to find some way to get this MKB up on Tino. He needs to do damage in the Chrono. Their high ground's going to be under threat, and they don't have the buyback, so the Void's gone for 30 seconds here.
That tier 3 tower is going to drop very fast with that Alacrity. Play Hard with the Aghanim Scepter as well to make it very hard to jump Natsumi, but you see Sam H jump right in, trying to get this Nyx Assassin down. He's dropping quite fast now, and they will be able to get him. Play Hard is gone without buyback. However, they've lost Sam H on the CK. Tino's last 10 seconds to go before he can come back in. Shanks, meanwhile, also being caught up by Natsumi. No be Neon, they'll just keep going for that bottom lane of Rats. They're going to be able to get it. No problems as Natsumi just never feels the need to leave this bottom lane.
Yeah, he has nothing to be scared of. He's got Reincarnate, he's got this level 25 talent, he's got the -2 second Mortal Strike, way more uptime on his crit, on his steroid. And Tino, even with a Chrono, he can't look for the opportunity. So 1 Rax down, 11k up here, over Neon, 14 to 19, 13 minutes in. They're feeling really good about themselves. They can take over the map, prevent the farm from coming true for Omega. And for Omega, it ties into this draft. You can't do much with Tino can't actually set up for his team because they've got 4 melee heroes. Like, there's no follow-up for the Chronos. He can't even just throw it out and hope to find a pick-off, because chances are he just doesn't have enough damage to do it himself yet. So they still need time to farm up for Omega. They're going to get the MKB up relatively soon, and that should be a nice spike here for Tino. It still doesn't feel like it's enough. He's still going to need more up and running. You do have the Ags up on Mac, so you can really keep the spam up to keep his Warpath up at max stacks, and that's always going to be really nice for Bristle to run around. It also enables him to cup out in the Chrono. You stand outside, you get some boost out. You can get the minus armor up to help Tino out, but you don't have that much time to use it there. And Obignon, well, they're still running around the map, taking over the triangle. We're seeing the Reaver coming through here for Natsumi soon. He's going to have his overwhelming blink done. So more strength in hand, slow the damage from blinking in is always nice as well. And Omega, it's just looking clumsy. Normally when there's a Void, I'd say the high ground looks great. But there's just no synergy to make that Chrono work.
Mega, smoke up behind Mac. Counter smoke is going to be out from OB Neon. The classic dance through the mid lane. Natsumi, he's going to break the smoke and jump right in with the overwhelming blink. It won't be enough to kill off CML yet. Mac. He's trying to slow Natsumi down, but they want to try and aim somebody else down first, and it looks like they have found a target. They've gone play hard again with the next assassin. Now Tino after Scam. They want the Viper dead, but CTM, he's going to be able to Aeon Disc and run. Back on the CML, CTM, he's being caught out here. Sam H and Max still trying. Cataclysm going to fly through. But Natsumi's the one who's getting all the kills. Cataclysm doesn't do too much. CTM will drop. That'll be a Viper gone. Sam H now trying to chase down another in the form of Januel. Well, they continue to ignore Natsumi. Now Sam H, though, is going to get caught and does drop. That was a team fight where Tino just never really got the chrono off, and I guess it just didn't matter. It was still a 2-for-2 trade.
Double damage.
Yeah,
Natsumi's going to try for the Roche.
It's going to be big if they're allowed to take this Roche. Aegis, Cheese, and Ag Shard coming through. Ag Shard for pretty much anyone who doesn't have it could be really nice here. You already have it up for Natsumi to secure the reincarnation, and it goes with no contest. Just no movement, no information for Omega. To get the Aegis Cheese there, where you can see who Natsumi passes that Shard to. Maybe just give it to Yopaj. The Chaos Meteor passes the Cheese instead. Maybe down to play hard with Vendetta would be nice. Magic Res down would be pretty sweet, but he's going to hold on to it for now. Omega need to play high ground. They cannot play outside unless they catch off Yopaj once more. They are going to try to retake control of their triangle, but when Natsumi shows up, you just bail.
Natsumi, he just goes in by himself every time. So confidently, and everybody just needs to run. Or do they? Jackson Tino waiting. Yopaj gonna go in. Chrono, it was a blind Chrono, but he gives it a shot and it works out. Or does it? Impel lands. Tino finally pops his BKB, but it might be too late. Yopaj is out of there. Meanwhile, Shanks is gonna die. Tino's gonna try and run now. These BKBs have been a bit late, and it's really costing Tino for the second time this game. He does end up going down, and now CML, he tried to be around to help, but well, he's gonna die now. OB Neon onto the high ground a second time this game. To play hard, really rubbing it in. Even with all this nasal goo flying out, it probably isn't gonna be enough. Natsumi, he's not even moving right now. Just walking on the spot, but there you go. It wears off, he'll go back in. On out. Oh, that's a lot of damage on Mac. Cataclysm through as well, but the 4-star's gonna save the day. It won't matter though. They still get the kill. There is a buyback, but it seems like Omega, they might be running out of gas here. They're gonna commit the buyback. Sam H gonna try and Yopaj. Does get the Invoker, but Natsumi gonna chase him down on that CK CTM. Meanwhile, after CML, Sam H still trying to fight. Goes into CTM again, but he is gonna die. So they do get CTM. Or rather, he is just fine. Just the nasal coup. Natsumi still hasn't lost the Aegis. Sam H is going to try again onto the backside. Chaos Meteor is going to be there. Tino's going to jump in, but there's no chrono up. He'll try to abuse the BKB timing. It won't be enough though. Natsumi, meanwhile, just one hit CML. Onto Mac, gives him another crit. The big crits out from Natsumi into the mid-racks. Screw the mid-racks. They want the T4 towers, surely. They'll go for the Megas first. Now it's onto the Tier 4s. And John, it's looking like we're going to have to run them back, sir. We'll have to run these tiebreakers back another time. Why the hell not?
Yeah, it's so much for breaking up the tie. Neon. Oh, bit of a fight left, though.
I mean, there is a fight left, Tino.
Nah.
He just does the time walk in the backtrack, and that's enough. We'll let them know you got the shot. That's it.
And just a bit of a smooth criminal show-off.
The Dire get a ban. Here's the Radiant ban. Dire's ban now. Radiant's turn to ban. Dire's turn to pick.
We saw this Omega 1 out. We'll see if Boom has learned their lesson. They ban out the Bristle, and that's good news for them. Let's see what they play with. Do you want something that can help you with a burst? Maybe something like the Nyx again. AA Nyx is a really solid combo. And to center Lion, yeah, we've seen it work out against that combination before, so Boom could easily just dip into it if they want to. They are taking their time with this next pick. They might be eyeing perhaps their FBZ hero first, as he tends to be the space maker really for Boom in that early to mid game. He wins his lane, he builds up for his team, buys space out. So they might just prioritize an offlane pick here rather than going for the support duo. They do go with a Tiny, so that might be a support for Kezcute or for Hyde. Still kind of open. For their sake, I hope it's not a support Tiny. We've seen that really fall flat. And no, the panel across, well, at least the panel here in the DPC for C tends to not really enjoy Tiny Force, so we'll see if Boom opts for that. Might just be our Mikato here, which is alright. It's not, you know, it's not like Mikato's outright special, but it's still something you can play with. You hit your blink timing, get the Echo Saber, itemize from there. The burst damage is still really good with an AA. Maybe even Dreamo Cell pause one Tiny, but that has been less common in C, but you have that flexibility open. Let's see what they do end up going for. I think I'm fine with it in core role. If it's a support, well, you kind of lack control with AA Tiny, so you're really only stuck with Avalanche, and it's not really an instantaneous stun. Omega should still be able to dance around that if you do go that route.
The Dire get a ban.
Actually, no. I went out. I had a cup of water instead. I couldn't. Had not enough time to make some cafe, sadly. So I just had some water. That's it. Nice and refreshed. It's a hot afternoon. At least, well, not even a cold cup, because that would be bad for the throat. So like a lukewarm tap. Well, not tapper, but lukewarm water. That's it. That's my Brienda. You know, it's not much, Mike, but we make it work. We make it work.
5 seconds remaining.
I haven't even checked.
Dire's ban now.
I had a look. Yeah, we have a score. So if anyone's wanting to stay here instead and doesn't have time to look at the other stream or doesn't have it open, close your ears for the next 5 seconds right now. Okay, I'm going to say the score. Execration 1-0 Fnatic right now. So you can open your ears again. You're safe. Spoilers gone. Spoilers gone. You're safe. Yeah, that's the score right now. It's an interesting result for sure. That sounds spicy up there. I'm keen to see how that ends up because frankly it's all surprises today. Three-way tied. It still stays tied here. First result up there is, well, kind of upsetting expectations. It's just quite a wild day for C to close out with, really.
Radiant's turn to pick. Ten seconds. 5 seconds remaining. Dire's turn to pick.
Yeah, it's been so tight between all the teams, and I think the ideal result for the region would have been if Neon won their game yesterday, but they didn't. Like, it's no one else's fault. Neon lost, T1 gets to go up, and they're the ones fighting it out later on for their own tiebreaker. So, you know, what can you do? You drop a game, that's it. Boom. Are staying in it though, and they do pick up that Tide Hunter now, so they've got the team fight lining up. We've got our FBZ hero with a lot of AoE control, really nice with a tiny. You can just toss in for the Ravage. You're not necessarily constrained to your blink timing here for the Tide, but obviously you'd still want it. And in Omega, they go with the Snap into the Ursa, so they've got a really solid pause one to go up against the Tide. You still kind of get annoyed by the Anchor Smash, but Fury Swipes kind of makes up for it. FBZ should still be able to get some control on that lane initially and kind of build off. You don't need to worry about the minus armor combo from Boom, as they've got the Tide, but they cannot pick the Snap. They don't have the Gush combination to play with, but Boom, go into the TA. Alright, so it's looking like a support Tiny now, because they've got the Mikado special. Oh, no.
Ten seconds. The Dire get a ban.
Yeah.
10 seconds.
Yeah, it's still really strong to have. It's the minus armor combination. I saw someone in chat, a certain someone asking, Crest, shout out to you. Shut up now. You've got your shout out. I have nothing to relate any of this picks to you. So there you are. You get a free shout out. Crest PH, ranked 200 or something, 8k MMR offlaner, yada, yada, yada. There he is. Follow him on his socials or whatever. Whatever, Mr. Crest. Yeah, we've got one. Wonder where Stinky is, but he might be busy writing his novella. Still, bans go through. You see the respect ban for the Faces Void from Boom. I mean, from Omega for Boom. So they're preventing, say, Chrono Ravage combos coming through. Very potent in the right hands. Void just messes up Ursa, and Rage doesn't change the effect of Chronosphere, it's still going to lock you in for a long
5
time.
seconds
So
remaining.
it's a safe ban to enable that Ursa just to get all that he wants. Boom. Take care of the Bat Rider and the Razor. So the Bat Rider just to prevent DTA from being run down. The Razor maybe signaling something under safe lane to come in that doesn't like it. So something melee, something that can kind of get run down, sap damage off. Wondering what Boom does go for. Does look like we're lacking our Dreamo Cell hero unless they run the safe lane Tiny, which is still a possibility, but I don't know. It's just not very popular in Southeast Asia, so we'll have to see what they do consider. Troll last ban out from Omega because they saw that Razor ban. It's just one of those heroes that hate Razor, so just ensuring that Boom doesn't get what they want here.
Ten seconds. 5 seconds remaining.
I see an opportunity for Jug. Although it's not best. Slark would be nicer. They go with Drow for Boom. So this is something we've seen from them before. Drow plus TA is something they love to run, but we haven't seen it recently since, well, Drow was kind of feeling off. Now, she doesn't have to worry about Abyssal blink-ins from the Ursa. There's still some good mobility here from Omega, though. Stampede is enough to gap close on the Drow Ranger. So Dreamer Cell's still going to have to watch his spacing, but I think they've got a really nice draft to enable Drow. Minus armor with a Tide, minus armor with the TA mob. It can help to enable your Drow Ranger to just stand back, get the damage off, and help you sustain these fights. And of course, you can fight around the Ursa. If he doesn't get a blink, Frost Arrow him. He's running around. Sure, he's got Enrage, but your Frost Arrows are, it's an orb effect, so you're always going to keep him slowed up anyway. It doesn't matter. And that should help to keep the Fuzzy Wuzzy away from you for quite a fair bit. Oh yeah, he's got a lot to contribute to his team. I think Omega, they might be stuck with only Unka pick. I think that's the only one that really takes care of a TA. You'll have a triple melee lineup against a Drow though, so that can feel a bit awkward. You have to run into the Drow. You have to kind of clump up and Ravage is kind of ruined. So they go with the Ember instead, which is one other way. Flame Guard is constant DPS, so you've got a constant burn to melt through the TA refraction. Holds up the mid lane well enough. You can kind of dodge through the side blades of Mikado here. You don't really block Mikado's damage though, as most of his damage is physical or pure, so you have to kind of watch yourself there on Mac, but it's a playable lane. It's a really different set of drafts compared to our first round of tiebreakers here, so we'll see what comes out for Omega and for Boom. We'll see if it's going to be deja vu, if Omega can find a win, or if Boom can break the cycle, bring us a new timeline, and find that win themselves. Should be a good one to watch. I would lean towards Boom. I like the Tide with TA, despite it losing in TI. I like the Tide TA with a Drow Ranger. The minus armor synergizes with your Drow. The Ember Spirit's one way to gap close into Drow Ranger as well with the Remnants, but your Ursa's still going to be running around. I think once your Drow gets a Force Staff and Hurricane Pike, she feels a lot safer against the Ember. You've got Hyde as well, who can play a more defensive Tiny, blinking in and tossing the Drow out. So you've got some save here, and you've got some good timings. You got Comfort Heroes for Mikoto on the TA. He is such a beast in that hero. I think for Omega, they have to play pretty quick. They don't want to just AFK farm with their Ursa. Be able to run and gun every time Stampede's up and Fingers up. Find a couple of kills, get their team fights going their way. So if you see Boom expend the Ravage, you know you can take the next fight. Your downtime early on, your longest thing to wait for is really Finger, and that's it. And you don't really need Finger every single fight. As long as you have Stampede, you can take it from there. So I think Omega has to play a lot faster and tighter, whereas Boom has a lot more leeway here and just kind of, you know, take it easy, jump into the mid game, and take off with this TA.
All right, let's see how it goes down. Game number 1 between Omega and Boom Esports. See how this one pans out. Be pretty interesting to see if Boom Esports can kind of just force it back their way and put Omega under the pressure up against Neon up next if that was to happen, but find out. The group up on the top side, Omega. I don't mind going for a first blood attempt here, but they are going to get the high ground. They'll move their way up. Nobody watching that from Boom. Kodo going to be spotted. Sam H will run past and well, they know about each other now. It's a bit too late for Omega to try and set up. Sam H still trying to suss out whether there's a ward there. Makoto, of course you can just clap at them, which is very nice taunt there for the T8. And we'll get into it. Game 1, 2 for 2 trade on the bounties. No first blood occurring. CML looks like he's still sticking around this mid lane, but they're waiting for Kesku to try and make his way back into the lane, and well, now he's going to run right into them and take quite a bit of damage out. They have Cookie as well, but CML's going to wait it out to try and go for the first blood, and it looks like they've got it. Kesku tries to eat the fairy fire, but it is not going to be enough. The patience from Omega does end up paying off.
Yeah, it's a nice little kill to start off for themselves. CML with the additional gold is gonna feel nice. He can rush the medallion in the lane, gonna help out the cause for Tino. Of course, you have to watch this bottom lane as well. It's dual melee into the Ursa, but it's an Ursa into Tide. Once you start getting the anchor smash up, it gets a little bit tricky for Tino to last hit. Still, with level 1 Gosh, FBZ can't really gap close and do as much, and Hyde is just going to try to get the creep pull going. CML going to thwack him a bit, but without the early Orb of Destruction, or the Blightstone, without that up, you can't really out-harass Hyde, and just going to be able to get that level 2 on FBZ, so the lane should equalize. Up top, we do have Dreamocell on the Drow with Kescute on the AA. Sam H is there on the Centaur with Shanks on the Lion, and this one's pretty potent. If you can land your Earth Spike, you can get the follow-up Hoof Stomp, you can harass out the Drow. She's not that tanky in lane. If you can somehow gap close there, you could put Dreamocell in danger, so Dreamocell's got to stay a bit safe, but there's a lot of slows on hand for Boom. They've got the Chilling Touch, they've got the Ice Vortex, and they've got the Frost Arrow, so if you misstep, you could be stuck in a very awkward spot there as well on Omega's end.
That you could. Well, mid lane right now, Makoto going to be up against Mac on the Ember. Makoto is leading in terms of CS right now, but Mac, he has a level 2 Flame Guard up, he's going to be able to get through the Refraction. Hasn't gone for the Sleight of Fist yet. He's just having to think as to whether he wants the chains up. He'll continue holding the skill point for now. Kodo's still going to be able to just farm up just fine, though. Much easier than, say, the Gyrocopter game, at least for now. I'll have his bottle up as well, so he gets to get a full reset, get that water rune up, and looks like he's going to be all right.
Have no problems mid. It's one of those things where, as an Ember, you can melt through Refraction, but you don't block the Sideblade's damage. So Mikado's harassment is just still something to watch out for there for Mac. He's not really going to be able to stop it unless he dodges out with a Sleight of Fist, but the uptime for that spell is fairly low. Down bot, though, they've been making aggressive moves on Tino, but it's not quite enough.
Tino, he's going to be all right. FBZ. It's going to force him to the other side of the lane, so he's in a bit of an awkward pickle here. Tide's going to perhaps run into him on this time. Now they do ping him out. Hyde wants to go for this. FBZ, he has the Gush. It will land and Hyde. He'll just keep chasing it. And this is going to be a lot of wasted time out for Tino. Not going to feel the greatest as Hyde is not going to leave him alone. This is really smart from Hyde to just keep the chase up. Tino tries to juke him out, does get to the low ground, but Hyde, he has the avalanche if he wants to commit it. It looks like he won't. That would have been at least one wave that Tino missed out on.
Yeah, it's a nice win for Tino. You can even see mid, once Mikado starts to apply the pressure at level 4, Mac feels the brunt of that damage. He's forced to salve up, so that's 100 gold drained away for regen. Because Mikado doesn't really cost him anything to get that done. He's got the cheeky Blightstone to get more minus armor on that Ember every single time. So it's a bit risky for Mac, just staying there as a melee hero up against TA. And Mikado at level 5 is much more secure. Level 3 Refraction, level 2 Sideblades up. Gets his Water Rune with no contestation. Mac gets his secure as well. They've got the early rotation from Shanks if you want to make a play down mid.
Be careful though, the Observer Ward is going to scout him out. Makoto, he may not find out fast. It's enough that Mac is there. Earthspike is going to land. Makoto has some help coming in. Hyde, Avalanche tosses up, but Makoto is still going to drop. Maybe they could try to trade Mac's life, but no. Mac's going to survive. In the end, Makoto, who is top of the CS board, is going to drop his top lane. Dream Assault going to try out to Sam H. Sam H is pretty darn tanky, but has managed to juke him out, and looks like Dream Assault is going to end up giving up on the chase.
Missed opportunity to kind of make up. Omega 2-0 start, feeling great for themselves here. They're building up stacks as well in the jungle to clear out. Whereas for Mikado, dying once kind of sets him back. He's having a really great lane. He didn't manage to really see the rotation. The tree line is making it hard for him to spot it out. I think you might need to maybe start to build up some stacks here for Mikado. There is at least one double stack.
Gets tossed into the tier 1 tower, tries to fairy fire, but Hyde got him. We never really talked about the fact that this Tiny was a pos 4, but so far Hyde's been doing some great work.
Yeah, he has. He's been active on the map. We saw him cut off Tino a while ago. So he's doing his job. I think for a lot of other Tinies, they tend to play really passive. This time around, Hyde is getting more activity out. He's getting his levels up. Still wants to rush the blink, of course, and that's always a bit slower in the pause 4. But I think in this game, it should still come out in a timely manner. So you've still got that good spike to play with your burst damage potential. And FBZ is just kind of perfectly fine sharing this lane a bit. In fact, Tino
gonna be all right for now. Big stack up here for our mid Ember Mac. Go ahead and clear that out. Kodo gonna go do the exact same thing in his own triangle, but he's got ancient stacks rather than just your standard large camp. Very kind of similar mid playstyle between Mac and Makoto right now. Really two different going on. Mid really wants to rotate yet either. So just a little bit too early for that.
I'd say for an Ember, it's much more feasible. You've got burst damage on hand with the Spirit Bombing if you want. You can maybe look at the top lane. Really, you'd want to kill that Drow off. The bot lane feels a bit tanky to jump into and commit for.
MH, such low HP on the Centaur down at bot. Oh, excuse me, top, but he's been surviving. This bot lane, they are still trying to find a way to set up on the side of Boom. Mega forced to back. No real action going on across the map whatsoever. Just a lot of D-wards flying out. And gets one there at the Radiant jungle. Spots out the courier of the Snapfire. Leave it be. Does rotate into the mid lane where I suppose he could... Can't really do much by himself right now at this level 4 Tiny. He might just go ahead and soak some XP.
Is under pressure.
Just try to get the levels up. It's about that time where Mikado just dips into the jungle. Press the farm with the Desolator. Of course, they do make use of that here.
Keskut, he's gonna drop. Easy kill there for Mac. Mac, he's not gonna rotate top to try onto Dreamer Soul. He's out of remnants. Instead, he picks up the Haste Rune and oh. Stampede was just popped. And we have a pause. And they are chasing Dreamer Soul. This is very awkward. He literally just pressed the button.
Yeah, I think Dream Assault's still probably gone here. Got a long duration, there's no gust to push them back, so Tina should still be able to find the angle. And if they're lucky, Sam H can follow up with a hoof stomp, get that.
All right.
Probably not enough, we'll see.
They've got the go-ahead. Stampede is there. Dreamer Cell is still alone, and it looks like nobody's going to TP up. They're going to let him die. Not the greatest of news for Boom, but for Smart Omega, you've got to be happy.
And it widens their lead, 4-1. Less than 1k in net worth. They still have sort of left Mikado alone despite that one death. He's still allowed to clear out these stacks. Still allowed the triangle, which is a point of concern. Like, their TA is still going to hit that timing with the Desolator. They're all going to clump up bot as well for this push.
Right. Avalanche toss out. CML already getting so darn low, but not low enough to kill. He'll make a run as Shanks now is there to help. In fact, Mac's going to rotate on the Ember, and they will just chase down Cascute on the AA, and they do get him. And Hyde, he is not safe either. They know exactly where he's trying to hide. Mac. Well, Avalanche is out, but it's not really going to do much to help out Hyde, as eventually Shanks will be able to secure the kill on the Lion. On the brighter side, Dreamer Soul was pushing in the mid-tier 1 tower, but they did clip it up in time. So not really that much damage being dealt by Boom.
Not as much as you'd want, and even find the Lion kill coming out from Boom to kind of tie that up. Should allow them to take this bot tier 1. They have lost their top in exchange, so it is going to be a 1-for-1 trade here for Omega and Boom. And for Omega's side, well, they've still got the kill lead. They're still building up on their Ursa, getting really good early aggression out. Really keen to see that Tino is going for the defusal as well, so it's not the farm build up. Just wants to be able to get his slows off, get the damage off, and that will work in stark contrast against Boom. Because Boom needs to farm, Boom needs to take it slow. With a faster Ursa build-up, I think you might find yourself starved of space if Omega just keeps forcing it.
Run in, they have found the TA. Mac, gonna get gusted up. Silence is there, but the stamp is going to allow him to get out as Makoto now in big danger. Ravage though from FBZ, gonna save the day as Makoto somehow is gonna get out with his life intact. It's like they just didn't have anything else to throw at them at.
The missed opportunity for Omega. It's a bit of a trade, so you know you don't have Ravage to worry about for the next minute and a half, 2 minutes and a half. That's a lot of free time now for Omega to maybe look for a clump up, look for an opportunity to get kills. They've got Finger ready on Shanks here. Could look to just get that spell on cooldown, hunt down the Drow. That's going to be the big one. Dream Assault's just kind of farming up still in the jungle. And the fact that you're allowing both the Drow and TA to sort of farm like this is not really ideal. I think Omega, after the mid, really needs to start contesting this jungle a lot better.
Is he going to be around to make sure he defends? Hooky, going to land on target. Still going to show him. In fact, the whole side of Boom's around. Two back now. And this whole time, Tino has been freely farming that top side, and it's one of those things for Boom. They can't really afford to lose the mid-tier 1 tower. They need all the space in the world in that jungle. Like they kind of have no choice but to let Tino farm this whole time and maybe put trust in their own cause to be able to fight back later on. Sam H will not stop onto this tier 1, but now Dreamer Cell's in. Ice Blast, not really going to connect on anyone. Does survive, and in the meantime, Hyde's the one to drop.
Yeah, he tries to make a move. They're smoked up. They're still trying on mid as well, but this is
that's a nice chains, Mac. They're going straight after Dreamer Cell. They want the Drow Ranger. Mortimer's Kisses, though, not doing enough. In fact, now they're trying to run the other way. They ran out of spells. Cookie's there. Match dropping low and is going to remnant out as Tino does move in onto Dreamer Cell. It does get the Drow Ranger, but you've lost Shanks to boot. So they'll lose the Lion and the Centaur, but they do get that POS 1 Drow. Kind of argue who had the more worthwhile trade. Now it's going to get chained up, but there's no follow-up for it.
It's a bit better for Boom. They managed to get some decent punishment for the Drow dying. You're still not happy about losing Dreamusal though, but Mikado's staying alive. Mikado's making great use of this Desolator. The damage is flying through really nicely from the TA. He's allowed to just farm like this in the jungle. Blink Dagger is going to be up. Their tier 1 still stands. You're pretty alright with this for Boom. And you've got Ravage up in FBZ, so you can actually take these fights now a lot cleaner. Omega have to be a bit cautious if they don't have the burst damage on hand. Chasing a bit too long, so close to an objective, does give Boom enough time to respond.
Oh, nice stun out by Hyde. Tino gonna come in and clean up. Easy. Gonna move in on Sam H, but he's always got that cookie to escape, it seems, thanks to CML. Boom, they are not interested yet in fighting in any way. They're just gonna keep the farm up, keep everything going. FBZ. He gets spotted by Sam H now. Cookie, not gonna be in range. Would have been too tanky anyway on the Tide to really focus down. Boom will just keep up the farm game.
Not quite the target you'd want to go for. They do have a major spike with Mac now finishing up the Maelstrom. So they've got a lot of damage flying through from this Ember. One Sleight of Fist can melt one of these heroes down if they find a good creep wave for it. And they just kind of need to play around that. Tino is spotted out in top jungle now.
That's lost. No, not gonna land. Stampede away is enough. You have to blink now up on Sam H and that Centaur, so you could start making some real big rotations out if you're smart Omega. This might be the perfect timing as well, because Makoto is looking like he wants to push in that T1 mid. Like the whole of Boom are here now. No Stampede up, but they've got that blink hoof stop. Sam H gonna move in and does get the backside. He's both cores with all the DPS, but the Ravage is down from FBZ. They bursted down Sam H. He was a bit too early to the party. Nobody else was there to back him up. FBZ, he's gonna drop, so it ends up being a 1-for-1. But it felt like if he had the backup, you really could have just wiped out Dreamusal and maybe even Makoto. But it just was not there.
It felt really strange. Mac, he didn't manage to throw out the Remnant Bomb. He didn't manage to get the Sleight of Fist chains off. Just not enough DPS coming through. And, well, it's a missed opportunity. But with Ravage expended, Tino can start to rush. And Boom can't allow that to go. They know it's happening. We managed to go in time, so it's not going to be taken for free. But that does mean Omega can smoke up and look for an opportunity.
Absolutely.
Go for me. Radiant are scanning for enemies.
Roshan underway now, Tino. Playing no games, we'll just get it started. Bashes out there, making it a little bit rough for Tino. It's giving time for Boom to move in, but a big hoop stop. Sam H, he got all three. They will jump in, execute and hide. They're going to drop onto Makoto now. There goes your TA. Meld strike, but it's going to do nothing. And the whole time, Tino was just taking the Roshan. Didn't even flinch.
Yeah, this is scary now for Boom. They have to face off against an Ursa with 2 lives. Tino also will have his BKB up by the time the next fight rolls around. And that's always the risk for Boom. Once they expend Ravage, they know he can't really take the next team fight well. They're going to lack one big piece of control. They have to just sit back and farm. They kind of get punished for being in the wrong spot at the wrong time. Boom now. Win condition still Mikato. He's still top of net worth. They're trying to get some catch-up farm on Dreamusal. And it's slowly building in, but Shanks has the blink and could go hunting here.
Sam H. Spotted by Hyde. Hyde, he's not going to get the blink initiation he wanted. Force the TP rotation in from Makoto to try and help out with the kill, but they get nothing for their trouble. Mega, immediately seeing that, are going to be more than happy to just back out of there. Still 13-6. 17.5 minutes in. 1K net worth lead for Omega. Mid lane, CML, he may be caught now. FBZ's gonna show up. Ice Blaster's there. Mac, he does get the chains down, and CML still is alive as now Sam H. A nice double hoof stomp again. The burst down KezQ, and FBZ, well, he's gonna pop the Ravage. They're gonna try and fight back. Makoto's there onto Mac, but it looks like Mac is gonna be alright. They might lose Sam H, and they do lose Shanks. And the Ravage, in the end, it does pay off.
Yeah, they find a couple of kills, but I feel like it's not enough. Respawn times are short enough that these two heroes will be back up while Ravage is down. Stalling out for Tino's BKB, which is going to be up in about 30 gold. And there it is, flying out now. So Tino's got Aegis BKB along with his Diffusal Blade. Even if you manage to kill Tino off, you're not going to have the control for his second life. And I think Omega are not going to be too upset by that. They still can look for another opportunity to come in. The disarm's almost up on Mac. His Heaven's Halberd is just one part away. And that will absolutely ruin Mikoto. Like, once you get the disarm on the TA, she will just stand there not doing a single thing. The BKB is going to help Mikoto out with that, but he's still a ways off from it. So 2 parts away. Going to be a major spike for Mac once that's up. We're going to have to be a bit cautious though. Tino, if they jump him, he still has Aegis BKB.
Blast. Gonna land on the backside. Makoto doesn't jump in. Tino is there, just kind of staring him down.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Into that tier 2 top tower.
Dire's top tower is under attack. Dire structures are fortified. Radiant's bottom tower faces a stiff wind. Dire's top tower is about to take the plunge.
It's a pretty slow siege. I mean, ideally, you'd want Sam H to tank the front, but he needs to stand back for the stuns in case someone jumps in. Hyde is still playing that tree line. Sam H might spot him.
Sam H. He's going to spot him out. Does find the Tiny. Gets the double edge off, and they've got the follow-up stun. Finger is there as well, and well, that'll be another. Hyde to drop the tier 2 top tower. Center fall as well. Doom Esports, I mean, they're still farming. So you've got that going for you, but they're not finding the objective trades. It looks like they're not even going to try for the bottom tier 2 yet, and maybe that's just because they don't really want to defend into the Aegis of the Ursa. But now Omega's smoked up, and it looks like they're going to run into the triangle of the dive.
They could catch a really nice target there if they're not careful. Right now, it's just KezQ though. It's not as big.
Oh, your smoke didn't break.
Oh, Shanks. Too quick.
Well, they would have got a pretty big kill. I believe somebody was in that triangle, and yeah, Dreamer Soul was around, but what can you do? It happens, Tino. It's gonna have to back off now with the rest of Omega, and you see Boom immediately trying to capitalize off the mistake that was made by Omega. Still vision over the side of Boom in this triangle. Aegis does expire though. I don't think the side of Omega will really be that interested in fighting into the side of Boom now, or maybe they will if they could get FBZ first. But he's not an easy target to burst down. Easy moving forward. Sam H going to be targeted. There's your hoop stop out. Hyde is going to get the toss back. Tino, meanwhile, trying to fight, is chasing down Dreamer Cell. They've got the chains out. The Drow is trapped up. She needs some help because Mac and Tino, they won't leave her alone. And there's your hoop stop out, but now the Ravage. FBZ trying to turn this one. It may not be enough. Hyde is dropping. Makoto has been hellburned up. He is disarmed and cannot fight as FBZ is going to be the third to go down. Hyde will buy back immediately. But it's going to amount to nothing. It almost felt like a rage fire back there from Hyde.
It's pretty quick. I think they were just dissuading them from chasing further, maybe jumping that TA. So they save out Mikoto by just having that threat, it does cost him a lot. And that was a great Heaven's Halberd reveal from Mac. He's had it for a while, manages to make great use of it. They win the fight, they force the Ravage. Omega can go again. They have no cooldowns to wait for. Stampedes are relatively short. They can go straight for the tier 2 towers.
To mid. This is about a third of its HP, but Boom Esports, they're going to be there to defend. Smoke up, Omega. They want to fight. They know the Ravage isn't there. No real reason for them not to just try and fight this one out, and don't necessarily want to go after FBZ, but it looks like they may have to run into Kescute instead. Kescute, he'll get stunned up. I suppose the best case scenario is your AA dies and everybody else gets out if you are Boom Esports. That's exactly what's happened.
Not too bad. You do lose the Ancients here. Just a slight stack going the way of Boom, but they're keeping chase. Kino.
Middle tower is under attack.
Keepy really forward, doesn't get the blink time, but you can see they're hungry for blood in Omega, and that's enough zoning out to actually clear out this tier 2 mid, so we'll find a nice objective. That'll leave only the bot lane left for Boom standing, and they do have the tier 1 still there, so it's fairly protected, but their triangle's still not safe. They still need some farm to fly out for Mikado. The BKB is still kind of lagging behind. Is going to be up so he can fully buy out, and that's a smoke timer there for Boom.
Dire are scanning for enemies.
I scan out into the triangle. BKB now up on Makoto, so he definitely wants to try and go for a fight.
Never refuse gold given.
They're going to run into their own triangle. They're going to try and go into the Radiant triangle, but Mac, he's going to remnant out, and he was the only one around. BZ, Earth Spike gonna land. Shanks trying to set up there. It's the Tide. Let's lock him down with the Hex, but this time FBZ, he does have the Ravage. Gonna be a lot more cautious finding in, and they are still chasing, but he does have help around FBZ if he needs it. In fact, they almost scouted up Makoto there on the TA, but he's going to be able to blink his way out just fine.
There's a lot of tension building up here. Like, the next Roach is 30 seconds away, so if any one team wins this, they'll probably take Roach as well.
Sam H trying to get Dreamer Soul. The Force Staff going to save, but Mac is there. Avalanche not going to be enough. He will mount to the chainsaw and continue running. They've lost Hyde though. That'll be a dieback on the Tiny, moving up to Makoto, trying to take down Sam H, and does get the Centaur. Now FBZ, the Ravage is in. He finds 3 with the Ice Blast, and they look to just burst them down. They delete the side of Omega Esports.
Oh boy,
3-for-1 trade in the end.
Pretty dicey for Omega. They force the issue, they go a bit deep in the chase, and now Roche just respawn. Boom can look to go in. They do not have Ravage, but the respawns on Omega are fairly long, so they can probably clear this out with the Detso up in Mikado and the damage output they do have on hand. That is Aegis, Cheese, and Ag Shard. That's going to enable a lot more from Boom. It's a Ag Shard on Mikado, silence on the traps. It's just going to ruin a lot of potential there for Omega, and looks like they do actually give the shard to Dreamosol instead here.
Sam H. Shanks gonna TP away.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Yeah, they've got the hypothermia now for free on Dreamosol with the Ag Shard, so there it is. Stacking on heroes, reducing regen, increasing damage, and if they die with hypothermia, they're gonna do AoE damage per stack. Always nice. Well, so a lot of potency on Dreamosol now. Yeah, it's actually pretty scary. And the kiting issue is starting to come online. Like, once you see Tino get slowed down, once you see the BKB fade, he can't really do as much on the Ursa. It's just that he's kind of stuck in that spot. His Enrage just doesn't help when the slow source is really just an attack modifier, and it's just consistently reapplied anyway, so the Ursa's angle attack's just very limited in this game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Bottom tower is under attack. Radiant fortified their structures. Attack their structures.
Lane, Dream Assault. Let's start from that bottom tier 2 tower now, boom.
Radiant's bottom tower has rung its last bell.
A lot more confident now with their own draft.
4K lead up now for Boom. They're hitting these item spikes really well. Omega, it feels like they're kind of stuck. They need more items to flow in. I think the big one is max BKB into Ags. Like, this Ember really needs a BKB to stand in front. Ags to help in the mobility, compensate for the fact that Ursa has none. Run around the map. They will have to surrender to tier 2. They can't really fight outside their base right now. And the chat wheel starts from Boom. They're asking where you're going.
I mean, they're definitely more confident now, right? Like, throughout this game, that 20 and 11, it doesn't look great in terms of kill score, but the net worth lead sitting at 5k their way is definitely going to feel quite nice. And Makoto just running around with the Aegis, of course, so confidently. Pretty hard to try and fight into. Omega will just keep avoiding Boom Esports, but I feel like we've seen a similar story before when it comes to this kind of Diffusal Blade Ursa. It just, I don't know if it's going to transition as well into the late game against Drow TA. Hyde. It just seems like it's probably not going to offer enough. We'll see though, as Makoto's jumping right in onto Tino. Hyde. Well, they're forced to stampede. That'll be enough.
Not the longest spell on cooldown, so it's not going to feel too bad for Omega, but that's still a minute and a half where Boom can just force the issue up top. Tier 2 faults, that's the last outer tower, and because they still hold Aegis for a minute 40, they can just go high ground.
They do. Anything that can really stop them. Hyde, Avalanche, and the toss back is got Sam H. He will his own life, but they've got the big Centaur. Chains out, Mac. Gonna try and hold them down, but it's not gonna last long enough. And now Boom, they still have the Aegis. They can just keep going. Without the Centaur around, you at least want a buyback force down. Shanks now a nice double stun out, and that is Sam H buying back. They've got the Aegis, and they've got Dream Assault. They end up getting a little bit greedy there. BZ, he still has the Ravage. He goes in, but Makoto jumped out. Now they'll Ravage up. They'll try to fight, but it looks very, very forced, or maybe not. Tino is dropping very low to those Sire Blades, but not low enough. He'll survive with the Enrage. Stun is out. The Tide might just go down. Kescute is gone, and yeah, Shanks is all over them with this line. Now BZ eventually is going to drop. Even with the Aegis and Cheese, it just didn't prove to be enough, and maybe a bit of miscommunication at the end there with Makoto and FBZ. Makoto blinked out, but FBZ jumped in for a Ravage. It just seemed all over the place.
Yeah, so I'm not quite lining up for Boom. It felt nice when they found a pick off in Samage. They did force the buyback, but their high ground doesn't work out. They'd want to. At least they found a tier 3. It's something that Omega's always going to have to watch out for. But Boom kind of need to go back to the drawing board, reassess that entire engagement, and kind of work together as a team a lot better, because Omega has a huge opening now. Mainly off the back of Shanks as well. Like, it's not just that small misplay, but Shanks lined up the double Earth Spike. And that just enabled them to get the big initiation they needed, made the buybacks worthwhile, and just means that, well, they've got a bit of an opportunity to keep trying to bring this network lead back their way. They are still lagging behind by 4k. That's about 2k on each core, which honestly is not that bad. And it's still playable for Omega as they start lining up for that bot set of bot set of towers. They take the tier 1, can't go for the tier 2. So there's still one outer tower for Boom Esports to play with, and they will actually smoke up here. They don't have Ravage, but looks like they kind of want to punish Omega for stepping out a bit.
They can make it work, but Omega, they've already backed out.
Illusion.
Got Mac left over, though. He doesn't have a TP in front of the 15, and he might show himself in this wave in a second. But no, FBZ shows up. He thinks better of it. He'll sit back in the tree line, and Hopefully we'll just survive another day now as he can just go for the creep skip. Actually just TP out safely. Things are out though. They really want to try and go after this Ember, but I think it's going to be a little bit too challenging to catch him. Still going to try. Ice Blast going to be off the mark. Mac will now TP. No Ravage up yet, and Hyde, he can't get in range for the Avalanche. He had the... would have been completely blind. Yeah, and Mac kind of makes him run around for no reason.
It's a good waste of time coming out from Omega, dragging Boom around just a bit, wasting some time, buying some space for Ursa to keep trying to farm up, keep trying to get these item timings on Mac. He was going for the Shivas. It looks like he's diverting for the Ags, just staying on plate mail. And I think the Ags is just key. Right? You just want more remnants, you want the mobility, you want to jump the back line, burn through the TA, burn through the Drow Ranger as much as possible, and work from there. So let's see if they can keep farming up.
Oh, XL!
Mikado.
Got Makoto on the TA, they got the Earth Spike out with the Stampede, they just want to make sure he dies. He's still going to BKB up though, and might be able to find a way out. They do have a basher on Tino, but it won't matter. Makoto blinks away, and is going to make it. They committed so much for that kill attempt, and nothing will come out of it.
It's a bit of a shame there for Omega. Of course, that was a BKB charge popped by Mikado, so he's down to his 6-second charge, which is still alright. I mean, it's longer than it was before at 5, so 6 is definitely still playable here for Boom. Omega, for their part, Stampede is not that long. It's still just 90 seconds. They can kind of look to reset. Next Roche is a bit longer though, 2.5 minutes on the respawn. So neither side's going to be able to find that. And it feels like both teams need that Aegis cheese to go high ground. Like you can tell Omega's kind of hesitant to force the issue. The high ground defense of Boom is just really good with Ravage. The same thing for Boom. The last time they tried high ground, it didn't line up well. That was with the Aegis cheese. So they're like, alright, if we couldn't win with Aegis cheese, we're going to need it again to have a shot. They will smoke up though. Ravage ready. They could look for a big team fight here.
Could. Damage as well on Makoto. Going to be pretty devastating here for Omega as Mac. Getting a caught out. Avalanche tosses down to the Plus and the Ravage. That'll be Mac gone.
Women and children and Kunkafer.
PC looking for a bit more. They're going to jump in though. Pieback is there from Mac. Finger out. Makoto. Oh, they turn it right back around. TA. Dreamer Cell now the Drow. He's going to eat the cheese. Makoto will buy it back. He's coming into the team fight. The multi-shot is there. Mac goes in onto the AA. They also kill off Hyde, but Hyde does buy back. Mac, he's frozen up. Makoto now melt strike. Still Dreamer Cell so to unload the kiss. Can they kill him? Not quite. He will escape the Makoto. He's going to die back on the TA. FBC's dropped as well. And you've got Dreamer Cell out. But what does that even mean? Your TA just died twice.
That is big for Omega. Boom. Overextending, overestimating themselves there, and the only silver lining is that there's no Roche yet. So Omega can't just go into Roshan, get that, go to the high ground yet. They're going to have to wait a bit more. It gives you more time for the respawn on Mikado, and buys you a little bit more breathing room here. But Omega is starting to look scary. They're running in, they know when their buybacks work out. They just need the security of Aegis cheese, and they can start to consider that high ground, and that's where it gets scary for Boom. Every single time Ravage is down, you know Omega's going to look to re-engage, and the only reason they aren't right now is because, well, Boom's so far behind after losing those heroes that they're playing safe on the opposite side of the map, so Omega don't really have the opportunity to cut through right now. We'll be satisfied in getting farm up, and we're inching closer and closer towards max act timing. He's only about 800 gold off. Has to be careful into these two heroes though.
Mac. Oh, Avalanche. Not going to make it in time, and it's lucky for Mac that Roshan spawned up. He only remnanted back because of the Roshan. He did not see Hyde. They would have had enough time perhaps to get the gust off, but I guess Mac always had BKB, so it's not too big of a deal. He probably would have survived anyway.
Yeah, if he was quick enough. This is pretty big for Omega. They get the free Ags Blessing. So you've got the upgrade on Tino. Lower cooldown on Rage and usable through Disabled. So locking in the Ursus a lot tougher now. Tino's going to be able to run around, do what he wants for the most part. Boom does get the respawn on their TA, so Mikado's back up along with a Ravage. They could look to play outside their base, but it's so risky into Aegis cheese. They've got to be a bit more cautious. Maybe if they find a pickoff, you can work from there, but we've seen Omega, even one hero down, they buy back and just rush back in. It doesn't stop them at all.
Scepter now up on Mac to boot, so just so much more mobility on that Ember. Move up toward that top plane. See if they can find a pick off, but the scan is out from Boom, and they scan in the correct spot. Kodo just getting his spidey senses tingling there. Saves his own life. Thing is, Makoto, if he dies, they're losing one lane of barracks almost guaranteed. It's definitely...
Yeah.
He can't leave the base right now. There's just no way.
No, and it's so risky. They have to play in the high ground. They're pretty strong in that defense as well for Boom. Ravage, it's always good in those really tight spots. So there's no real pressure to step outside a base here. Hold. Wait out for Omega to push and kind of punish any sort of bump up. I think that's the best play right now for Boom. They are lagging behind that word. It's a 9k lead for Omega. They've managed to overtake. Tino is top of the board right now. Scotty is pretty much done if he wants to buy it out. They will go for that smoke play on Omega. They know they're ahead. They just need to pick off, and the high ground's opened up.
BZ. Hide. Might break the smoke. He does break it in time, but they still make the jump up, and they'll still get the tiny. Keep in mind, that is a dieback on Hide. Everyone else from Boom just continuing the split push game, though. Aren't going to mind too much. They'll just keep the pressure out in the other lanes and trying to force Omega back.
Radiant are scanning for enemies.
Still holding steady. I think Boom don't really mind losing a support outside. It's stopping push into their high ground while Aegis is up. About 2 minutes left on the Aegis. So time's ticking here for Omega if they want to maximize that spell. They've got good wards, but the Sentry does spot out the ward.
FBZ. Oh, CML. He got 4-staffed in by FBZ. Nice little cheeky kind of play there from FBZ, but CML, he had the cookie, of course, to get himself out. He's all right.
Cheeky. I thought CML would have a 4-staff, so if he could have gone for a 4-staff play on the Tide, that would have been nice. But the opposite happened. Still not enough to really break open some action here for both sides. As they're being patient. There is a double damage rune in the top river spot, top power rune spot. Massive damage spike potentially coming through here, and that could be really nice. Looks like they will hand it to Mac on the bottle. Able to pop that as need be, and this could be the little spike they need to go into the high ground. Look at the traps from Mikado just all over the top lane to prevent a push out and just getting some vision down. It's not often you see this, but he is really focused on just making sure that the top lane can be left alone and just push itself.
I mean, this is all he can do. It's the one way he doesn't have to focus on it 24/7, but now Max jumped in. He won't get him though. The Glimmer Cape is going to save as now Mac will try into FBZ, but no, he still wants Kescu. Avalanche is going to be dodged out, Remnanting the other way, gets a sleight of fist, but now the toss is going to lock him down, but they can't stop him. He wasted 4 of his remnants on that, but who the hell cares, because now they're back in Sam H. He got the stun, the 4-staff. Who 4-staffed him out?
It's Sam H. He's doing it all. Blinking in, stunning up, bringing Ak, and now the
forward. Mac, he went a bit too far. He'll lose the Aegis. BKB just to make sure he can get out. They've got the mid-racks down.
Like stabbing fish in a barrel.
It's going to be enough for Omega. They're in no real rush.
Yeah, they're still really happy to get to use the Aegis before it expires. Mac forces out buyback. They feel great about the fight. There is still an opportunity here for Boom though. They've still got Ravage on the respawn. They can force a really good hold here. They've got a million traps to clear out the creep wave. So it's a bit hard to siege onto the high ground from the top lane. You might want to consider the bot lane. Or, you know, get some sentries down to just clear out these traps. Be another way to kind of handle that. But with the Aegis gone, Omega could opt to play it safe instead. Hold back. Maybe finish up this Shiva's Guard on Mac, which actually it's already done. Kind of wants to get it without buyback, and I think he just needs about 200 gold to get to that point. So you will have it up side of Boom. Looks like they are buying out the smoke. They might want to step outside her base once respawns on FBZ with a Ravage. You need to make a play happen.
I think they're realizing how far behind they've fallen in net worth now. About 17k net worth to be exact. Advantages on the side of Omega. Smoke is there, but which way are they going? Makoto just bought his nullifier out, so he's got no buyback gold in his TA. Which could mean a pretty bad position if Boom was to lose another fight. Now, Omega, they're still grouped up as 5, so you're going to be fighting into 5 of them at once. It's not like you're really going to be able to find a pick-off. And they aren't going to make their way over. They're going to sit in the triangle and try to farm that up instead. That's about all they're going to get out of this smoke.
It's not going to lead to that kill outside base they desperately need. Omega, for their part, well, Roche is not up yet. Still going to see in a minute as to when that timer is. They can't really take that objective. They do have enough space to shove in the top lane. It's down to just tree traps to cut off the waves. And that's still going to be enough to kill off these waves, though, so no opportunity there. But they still wrap around and mimic smoke their own on them.
Oh, there you go. It's good. Immediately bursted down onto Hyde now, but the Aeon Disc is going to save him. Sam H, though, going to the backside, not going to be able to find the TA. Instead, it's onto FBZ, but Makoto, meanwhile, on the backside's got Shanks on that line. FBZ dropping quite low himself, but Tino and Ravage going to be committed to try and save himself, but the Remnants forward, they will be able to catch him out. On the left side, CML is going to drop, but I think it's going to be quite difficult to try and defend high ground now. You haven't got Ravage. It's going to make it tough. Both supports don't have buyback either. Omega, are they going to try and go high ground?
They could. I think the one issue is they've already taken the melee racks on the mid lane, so ideally you'd go top here, try to clear that out, but again, Mikado's done a fantastic job in just zoning out that wave, keeping the traps up. So the bot lane would be safest, but there's still a tier 2 to dig in. Not quick enough, or as quick as you'd want with the support respawns being as short as they are. No option for the Roche as well. It's 2.5 minutes until respawn. Bit of a longer timer there. I think Omega will just keep the status quo.
Omega, they're just gonna hang around. 20k net worth lead now for the side of Omega.
Scanning for enemies.
I'm still hanging around in the die triangle, but teams really want that Roshan. 1 minute 40 seconds left.
It's just a bit of a wait period here. For Boom, this is great because Ravage will be back up by the time this next fight breaks out. So it's going to allow them to contest the Roche if they want to. Having that AoE control will make it easier to line up the Ice Blast, make it easier for Mikato to try to burst someone down. They will smoke with a Ravage up. Just wanted to get the kills and then go into the Roche themselves.
Tower is under attack.
Avalanche gonna land.
Ensnared in fire.
It's a bit rough. They really need to start with that. I think FBZ just showing lane was less than go Sam H.
Damage going in. Tino is out. Finger has been committed. FBC is still in danger. Remnants forward, man. They've got Kescute, they've got FBC. Dreamer Cell is still being chased down, but fine hide instead of the Tiny. Aeon Disc has been procced. He'll try to run, but they have the control and they'll get him down.
You 13 mana, boy.
Stomped.
Don't make this situation out of no situation.
Big opening for Omega. Roche, 13 seconds away, so they're going to be able to clear that one out relatively quick. Can I just say this is an extremely farmed up line in Shanks, and he probably has the highest finger death kills count that we've seen in a while. 9 kills up, along with his 70 HP per kill. It's a lot HP, it's a lot of damage coming through. 3k HP line. That is a treat as they go into the Roche. Aegis, Cheese, Refresh, Ags, all the works coming in. Speaking of Ags, Simmel has his. Already going to give the freebie out to, should probably just give it to Shanks, honestly. Not Sam H. Sam H could use it. There, you'd upgrade. So, damage reductions there, free paddings there, longer duration. Boom. They have to somehow play this high ground. They still have Ravage. They have buyback on FBZ if it becomes imminent, but you'd rather hold with his respawn within 10. And Omega, it's a clear path to the high ground. They don't really have much to wait for here.
Is about to take the floor.
Sam H, 5.5k HP right now. Hyde's gonna toss him back. I'm not sure if that was the greatest idea, but Sam H, he'll run now because the Ice Blast on Hyde is gonna die. Matt meanwhile on the backside, he got the AA again. Kescute should drop him. Matt does get him and does get himself out as they get the tier 3 tower. Bubble is out. They will move in. It's like they do. You get FBC on the Tide. Hyde also being caught is going to try and run. Dreamer Cell going. Sam H, the hypothermia stats there really starting to add up, but he will get cookied out. The chains are out again on Makoto. Chains out again. Matt's very, very ballsy here, but he's going to find Hyde. It'll be a dieback again on the Tiny.
Jeez. Good style. He uses refresh, gets the remnants back up, just goes all the way in. They find the top racks. They found the mid by the creep wave pushing in. There's only the bot left, but there's a tier 2. They can't go Megas yet. They've still got this amazing, massive 35k lead, 42 to 15. Boom. They haven't been able to really use the Ravage. They're just not able to find the initiation they need. The damage output from Mikato and from Dreamo Cell, it's just not enough. Like, these heroes, they're not the most amazing late game carries as well, and they even find the courier with Mikato's Demon Edge, so the MKB's not going to be up. The lead, he bought the item while saving for buyback, so it's not completely bad for Boom. They do have buyback ready on Mikato encased, but they will have to just watch themselves. Now, one set of racks to defend. They can't help the tier 2. They need to get a good Ravage here from FEZ. He has to line his shots up here.
They do. Easy, chained up down the Tide. Cookie gonna land. That spike from a mile away, but they are not gonna make the jump in yet. Might have a bit of a reset here on the side of Omega. They're in a real pickle. I mean, 38. How do you even come back from this? It just looks so darn rough.
It requires a lot, and you can see Shanks' range. Jesus.
It's huge.
He went for the 25 Earth Spike. He went for the Earth Spike talent over the Hex.
Gold
Over AoE Hex. He just wants to be hitting from a mile away.
He has been landing some massive stuns though.
Look at this.
They go here. Remnants forward, Mac. He has no fear, this man. He's in onto FBZ, but he's going to be careful not to lose his own life. Just trying to chip away at the Tide. And oh, there's the gust out. Dreamer Cell chained up, but he does mantra it off. Mac, BKB, going to try and back off. Refreshes and is out.
I guess a successful defense. Racks still hold. Omega are going to eat the cheese reset. reset and look for a different approach here. Just need 1 Rax. Megas will be.
Forward, FBZ gonna drop onto the TA. They go. Makoto, he's gone. KSQ will drop as well. Back, just jumping right in, getting it done. Buyback's committed. They'll commit the Ravage as well. Where the hell's our Ursa? Dino, he got tossed back on the Ursa. He's gonna be fine with the Aegis.
So they found a kill, they found a buybacks. The rack still stands. Sam H. With Keen. It's difficult. Boom's putting all they can to save these. And despite finding the buybacks, Omega needs a bit of a reset themselves. They will smoke up. Maybe they're going to look for a different angle. Lines were drawn across different lanes. Look for a bit of a wrap around here while one kind of distracts them.
Stop!
Mega, oh Makoto, no, he gets hexed up. They've got the TA. He get out, Remnants, no, they've got no buyback. KSQ, he will drop Mac. He's been an absolute menace on this Ember. He will go for a bit more now with BZ. B-mana drained, Hyde almost dying in the fountain. They are going to be alright, those 3, but you're defending now into Megas basically as they are about to pick them up.
Dyer's bottom barracks.
Gonna try. Remnant forward. Kane's out. Back. He's just been afraid enough in this guy. Sam H is in. He gets the hook swap off. Finger around. Hyde's gone as well. Green Missile. FC, they call it. They've had enough, and we have a repeat of what happened in the first series of the day. So there we go, John. It's a 1-0 once again for Omega. Nothing changes for the first series.
Yeah, that's a great result for Omega. That sets them up. So now all that needs to happen to break this time